Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a wonderful disc of unusual repertoire by a Charles Martin Loeffler. Now, Loeffler was really a polyglot composer. He was born in Germany, but he was really sort of German, Alsatian, Swiss, Hungarian, Russian, or Ukrainian, and American. I mean, he was essentially an American from the 1880s. His dates were 1861 to 1935. He wrote a small group of very fastidiously composed works, often using interesting instrumental combinations, as we hear on this splendid disc, featuring, let's see, the BBC Concert Orchestra under Johannes Wildner, with Lorraine McAslan, violin, and Amy Dickson, saxophone. Yeah, and that features in the first work here, the Divertissement Espagnol. I mean, it's the first thing you think of when you think of Espagnol is a saxophone. It's a concertante work for saxophone and orchestra, and what fun it turns out to be. It's only 8 minutes and 53 seconds, but it's quite enjoyable. Loeffler is most famous for his, a couple of works, La Mort de Tintagiles, after Maurice Maeterlinck, and the tone poem A Pagan Poem, which was popularized by Leopold Stokowski, who recorded it. And that's really how we hear about him. He just otherwise exists on the very fringes of the repertoire. But his music is really fun to listen to, and the Divertissement Espagnol was kind of a find for people looking for interesting works for saxophone and orchestra. It kind of stops and starts a little bit. All of these pieces do. He seemed to have an issue with endings. Some things are sort of abrupt, or they sort of stop, and then you think it's over, and then it isn't, then it is. But, you get past it because the music is colorful and it's enjoyable. So this is a great deal of fun. Now, the second work here is his little tone poem from 1901 called Le Villanelle du Diable. It's a two-movement tone poem. About, how long is it here? About 13 minutes, 12 minutes for orchestra and organ. And, it's got the devil, so it uses like the dies irae at one point. And it's suitably devilish. It owes a lot to Berlioz, as you might expect. And it's fun. It's a find. All these pieces are just, you're never going to hear them live. So the best way to hear it is on Dutton, on a recording such as this one. And then after that, we get Nuit de Mai, a May night for violin and orchestra, which is a single 16-minute long piece, number 2 of a series called Evenings in the Ukraine, because he lived for a while in the Ukraine. He lived everywhere and knew everybody. He had quite the life. This is another. You have Lorraine McAslan, who's an excellent violinist. It's charming and fun, and it's full of interesting. It has like a slow thing, and then a cadenza thing, and then a whirling folk dance kind of extravaganza, and then a tranquil May nightish type ending. Absolutely lovely. And finally, and this is really fun, this is the Divertissement in A minor for violin and orchestra from 1894. Now, this has 3 movements. It's a concerto-length piece, 28 minutes, half an hour. Serious violin concerto type thing. And the last movement is called Carnaval des Morts, the Carnival of the Dead. And it's essentially Liszt's Totentons for violin. It's not exactly the same, but it's a set of variations, as is Liszt's Totentons, on the dies irae, which you've already heard a little bit of in La Villanelle du Diable. So that unites the whole program. I like united programming. It's really, really good when the program is cleverly laid out. And these variations are just whopping good fun. The piece kind of evaporates at the end. Actually, it's a rather effective, if unexpected, ending in this particular case. And again, we have Lorraine McAslan playing the violin, and the performances are just terrific. There's absolutely nothing not to enjoy. The sound is great. The label is Dutton. The composer is Charles Martin Loeffler. And if you're interested in unusual repertoire, this is a terrific disc to try. I think you'll find endless hours of enjoyment Let's see, what is this? How many hours is it? Well, it doesn't really matter. 67 minutes and 56 seconds. It also makes great road music. I've played it several times back and forth between New York and Connecticut, and it has really helped to pass the time. And it will do that whether you're in a vehicle or whether you're simply relaxed in your own living room. It works either way. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.